A very good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at the Stoic Countdown. Facebook here live on TV3 Ghana on DSTV's channel 279. My name is George Quaden.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up this afternoon. Minority Caucus in Parliament criticizes government over what it describes as a shameful retreat on the controversial Energy Sector Levy Amendment Act 2025 as it calls for repeal of law.
And dozens of residents also coming up this afternoon, dozens of residents displaced following torrential rains in Sekondi Takoradi on Saturday.
And later in sports, Asante Kotoko takes on Division 1 League side Golden Kick at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium in MTN FA Cup final. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay. And we start from here. The Minority Caucus in Parliament has criticized government over what it describes as a shameful retreat on the controversial Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025. Well, the minority is demanding that Parliament be urgently reconvened on to repeal the levy altogether, insisting that the postponement is wholly inadequate. Well, this follows the second suspension of its implementation by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA. In a statement issued on Sunday, June 15, the minority commended the postponement of the implementation just days before its scheduled commencement on June 16. While the minority described the move as evidence of government's chaotic and inconsistent approach to economic governance. While the statement said this 11th hour U-turn epitomizes a trial and error strategy and reveals a disturbing lack of stakeholder engagement prior to the passage of the law. Well, according to the minority government's justification, citing global crude oil price volatility due to the Israel-Iran conflict was both hypocritical and dishonest.
Well, in more news this afternoon, members of Parliament have asked the Ministry of Education to ensure schools in rural areas are given equal access of resources to improve teaching and learning. And the MPs were commenting on a statement that was made on the floor to urge candidates of the Basic Education Certificate Examination to be law-abiding as they write the exams.
To our students, please trust in your preparation. You have worked hard for this. Do not jeopardize your future by attempting to cheat. To school heads and invigilators, you have a duty to uphold fairness and discipline throughout the examination period. WAEC and the Ghana Education Service must intensify supervision, sensitization, and enforcement of sanctions where necessary.
There was a timely release of funds to WAEC for the conduct of the examinations this year. So we need to commend the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Education for collaborating very well to make sure that funds were made available for the conduct of the examinations. WAEC has been complaining over the years for examination malpractices in our schools. And so far, 10 people have been arrested for examination malpractices, including teachers. And it is uncalled for.
It is important for us to build an educational system where children from rural Saboba, rural Penyi, rural Joje equally have the same opportunities as children in East Legon, Adenta, or other parts of the country. I would want to appeal to the Ministry of Education and by extension the entire government that the results that we'll be getting from this year's BEC should be a metric to guide the government in terms of educational investment. Let us see how best we can invest in education in the rural areas so that children in rural Ghana will have the same opportunities as children in other parts of the country.
At the basic level, we are not giving that level the needed resources. As we speak, you still have schools where the children sit outside to learn. And so if you don't give them the basics very well, when they get to the JHS level, it reflects. And this will also reflect in their performance when they sit for the BEC. So it is important to look at education in terms of ensuring that the basics are well fixed.
We'll stay on education now. In every BEC season, we revisit a familiar face. Michael Adair, the student from 14 years ago, whose viral video has become a motivational staple for candidates. Well, Michael is back with a powerful message for this year's BEC candidates. I interacted with him earlier, and here's a report. Remember this viral video?
It's like it was a classwork for me, because almost all we saw it in our school, in the mock. Oh, this is not a poor matter. We are having quality teachers. In fact, extraordinary. Not simple teachers, graduates and grad ones. Oh, you pass. We bend the paper.
Well, it's been 14 whole years, and Michael Adair is now 29. Come along with me. Let's see how he's faring.
I remember at the time during that video, you were very confident in terms of you passing the papers, you were being trained by graduates and grad ones. Were you able to pass the BEC then?
I did my good, and I know what I wrote. But when the results came, I was a bit disappointed. But I know what I wrote. So
how disappointed? What did the results show?
I literally said I was expecting single numbers, but I had 16.
Oh, okay.
15 or 16.
Yeah.
So I was so much disappointed. So.
Wow. And how did school go after? What SHS were you able to attend? Were you able to go to the tertiary institution?
Due to some hardships, so it was just after high school I started doing business. Oh. Yeah, I started venturing into buying and selling stuff online. Sometimes like random lots of businesses.
You used to believe in the education system in Ghana. You were very confident then. Do you maintain that confidence?
I was very confident before, but now I'm sorry to say it's like the whole thing is messed up. It's like a chess thing. In the previous government's arrangements, the whole new calendar system, like sometimes you see a kid on vacation, you ask him, when are you going back to school? He'll be like, in 2 months. But you see the kid at home like for 4 whole months and you'll be like, yeah, I'm still on vacation. I was like, wow, it wasn't like that my time. It was just a month and 2 weeks and you're back in school. Like it was just rigorous like that. But now everything has changed.
And do you have siblings who are also in school?
I have 2 siblings in school right now. One is writing the BEC this term, and I think the other one is in primary 3. I told them to be confident. They should know they should go and bend it.
Have they seen your viral video?
Oh yeah, they did. One asked me was like, almost I call away. I'm just okay. Almost
So what's your advice to our students? BEC is currently ongoing. In a few days, they'll be done somewhere next week.
They shouldn't be scared. Like I said, it's just like the mock. Like we did it in the mock. It's that simple. They shouldn't be scared. It's just an exam. Come on. It shouldn't scare you. They can do it. If you've been able to reach GHS 3 and register for it, you can do it.
Well, it's yet another BEC season, and while many students may be tense due to the atmosphere and the pressure, take a word from Michael. Be confident. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Well, in more news this afternoon, child labor continues to cast a dark shadow, stripping children of their right to a future. And British Sowa visited Jamestown in Accra, where instead of playing, learning or dreaming, children some as young as 12 years old spend their days fighting against the waves to haul fish.
Tiny hands meant for books and pencils, their laughter meant to echo in their homes and classroom walls, is drowned out by the relentless demands of survival. For these children, school is a luxury they cannot afford, not just in money, but in time. Every day, hunger and hardship make education seem like a distant dream. For most of them, their families rely on their labor just to make it through another day. An artist, Samuel J., overwhelmed by sorrow, speaks of children who grow up with no guidance, no support, many of whom abandoned by society turn to crime.
This is Jamestown. We have boxing and we have fishing. You can ask yourself how many boys are going to take world title. They start and they end at some place. Many of the boys, when they come to me, I can see they have talent. The problem is when they don't get help, all those boys will go to Mokola and sweep and get money. At the same time, when he watch you and you didn't watch yourself, you take something and put inside the baller. At the end of the day, all of them will turn thieves and all those things. And people will talk when you come to Jamestown, all the boys are thieves and all those things. So this time we want to wipe those things and bring them from the street to home.
Elderly trader Comfortable looks on with pain in her eyes, watching generation after generation slip away into child labor, robbing them of their dreams, of possibilities and of hope.
When I see them, I get worried because they have not grown to the age where they have to be given such jobs to do. They should be enrolled in school for them to get the needed education. Please help them.
Because of my
Founder of the Street Children Empowerment Center, Paul Seme, pleads for a collective effort to bring hope back into these children's lives. He urged government to enforce policies that protect them, ensuring they have a chance to break free from the cycle of despair.
It's a joint up work thing, and civil society are not saying it's just a government job, but the government must take the pace and bring us together in a joint up work. Civil society sits on the same table as us. These are the plans. This, how can we get it out? Let's bring the pastor in. After all, we've seen how the religious institutions have invested heavily in education in different facets of our lives. Why don't we learn from these models that have already existed and face our problems head on together? And what we write on the children is what they become. So if you go into a community and you see certain traits, it is what the society, the country have written on these children, on the communities. That is what you see. And it only will take deliberate interventions to break these cultures of poverty. They would go on for generations.
Maxwell Ejay expressed sadness over the tragic loss of young lives engaging in fishing.
The children, when they go to the fishing and the net get hooked under the sea, they rather will dive and go and take it. So sometimes they come out with blood is coming from their nose. He didn't die at the ocean, but when he come, slowly, you see start to swallow up them things. So these are the problem. And some of them too, because of the air boy is not here, the canoe, when they come, they will adjust the canoe at their back. So when you, any careless, you will sit on you and you will paralyze.
Will Ghana be able to completely eliminate child labor or continue to watch as more children are lost to the menace?
Now, dozens of residents have been displaced following torrential rains in Sekondi, Takoradi on Saturday. Several households at Intankofo and Windy Ridge Extension were submerged, while the city authorities are yet to assess the full impact of the rain. Abraham Mensah has more in this report.
The rain began around 8 a.m. on Saturday across most parts of the Twin City. By noon, reports of floods at Intankofo, Kansarodo, Nkontompo, Anaje, Windy Ridge Extension, and the Central Business District had already emerged. They could salvage some belongings.
Actually, we don't know where, me like this, I don't know where I'm going to sleep because my everything in my room is scattered. I don't even know what to do. My bed, my fridge, my microwave, my books, all my books, they are all scattered. I can't even see this is my slippers. All my shoes and my slippers are outside. Like, I don't even know what to do.
They say this is the worst flooding experience in over a decade, accusing a neighbor of obstructing the waterway with a concrete wall. A similar accusation was made against a local church.
So every year, the water comes here. That's the level of the water is at this level of the gate, and every time the water comes inside the house, and when it comes inside the house, everything gets spoiled. The bed, everything, your clothes, everything is. You have to hang everything here, and the cause of this is because of this a wall that the church has built over there, and that wall keeps on pushing the water back. And these people have built another wall here, which pushes the water back. So since this place is pushing the water back, and that place too is pushing the water back, the water has become stagnant here, so it's not moving.
Tonight, the affected persons may have to find alternative places to sleep. The residents cannot also fathom how a road constructed barely 6 months ago could suffer such severe damage from the rain.
It was constructed not long ago, but this rain, this small rain, see what it has caused. Everything here is spoiled, and this is not the only place. If you go to this side, the road is spoiled. See. This road is called Emonasi Road. Emonasi. When you put small water, it will come up and it will break. See, no quality. This is just the first coat. Next time they should do it well. It's not good at all.
Just a few weeks ago, a major desilting exercise was undertaken by the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly and the Efia Kwesi Municipal Assembly. Perhaps these efforts have helped in mitigating the rain's full impact. Abraham Mensah, TV3 News, Takoradi.
This road is called Emonasi Road. Emonasi. When you put small water.
And now the Minister for Agriculture, Eric Opoku, has announced that the government will ensure the utilization of District Road Improvement Program drip equipment to enhance access roads in farming districts. He made this statement while addressing journalists in the Ashanti region. Take a listen.
The previous government procured some equipment for all the districts in this country. And it is the duty of this government to ensure that we pay for those equipment and then also make good use of the equipment. What we intend to do is to provide all the districts the financial muscles to be able to provide food and then use the available equipment to develop all access roads in all the districts. And that will make it very, very easy. It will make it easy for you to cut food from the farm to the communities without any difficulty. So that is our strategy. In fact, last 2 weeks, a contract was brought to my attention. Our people were preparing to award contracts for the construction of some roads in some rural communities, some agricultural districts in this country. I asked them to stop because we have the equipment there. What we need to do is to give them the fuel, give them the relevant resources for them to use the equipment to fix the roads, instead of awarding them on contracts at a cost far, far bigger than what we can use the machines for.
Away from that, a population policy analyst, Dr. Godfred Bonankansa, has described Ghana's population growth rate as alarming, hence the need to promote family planning. Well, he said it is worrying for any growing economy when its population age structure is consuming more than production. Well, the country's population growth, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, now stands at 3.6.
In our constitution and also in our national population policy, the point is made that the population, the people, they are the objective and the instrument for development. So they are the reason for development, and they are the tools or the agents you also use to achieve development. If that is the case, then the greatest investment of the nation ought to be in the population, has to be in the people. And that requires us to pay particular attention to how many we want to add on every year to our population. It will help us with planning. But if the focus is so much on economic development, economic growth, and we are neglecting the people for whom economic growth has to benefit, then I think that we are missing a very important point. I made a point when I was presenting that the evidence, the hardcore evidence, which is proved all over the world, shows that for a country to transition from low income to high income, or to achieve what we call demographic dividend, the median age of that country has to be at least 25.6 years old. Half of the population should be at least 25.6 and above. Currently, our median age as a country is 20.9. So we are significantly outside the belt of development, accelerated development. And because that, we need to accelerate the transition. It's not, therefore, enough to keep all the focus on job creation. It's fantastic. But pay attention to family planning. Pay attention to family planning. Let the families be capacitated to have the numbers they can take care of, so that the population age structure can mature enough to support production. Currently, our population age structure fosters consumption, not production. And that is dragging our development. We have to accelerate. There is no evidence of a single country in the world, single proper country in the world, which is developed and its median age is outside the 25.6 to 42 age bracket. You won't find that. All across Africa, the countries we pride ourselves in as developed countries in Africa, they all have median ages above 25 years.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Weekend Central here on TV3 with me, George Quinn, and Judith Brown. And more news this afternoon. Ghana is strengthening its pandemic preparedness through a coordinated effort involving key ministries and global partners. This aligns with global calls for unified responses to health emergencies like COVID-19.
The national initiative to boost pandemic readiness and response involves key ministries, health, finance, environment, and agriculture. The initiative will also be working alongside the Ghana Health Service and Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Bank. The COVID-19 pandemic underscored the urgent need for all countries to prioritize preparedness. The initiative aims to build an integrated system by rapid and effective pandemic response. The pandemic has posed significant gaps in Ghana's healthcare delivery system, including limitations in logistics, infrastructure, and emergency coordination. This initiative is not only about preparing for future pandemics, but also about building a resilient healthcare system that can withstand future health emergencies. The Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Akando, emphasized the need for smart financial management to ensure sustainability.
We are talking about system strengthening. We are talking about laboratory. We organize all the workshops in the world without having good laboratory, without having equipment in the laboratories. What have we done? So when there is pandemic, what do you do? I am not saying that workshops are not important. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that meetings are not necessary. Please don't get me wrong. But it's absolutely absurd to use more than 20% of the fund for meetings and workshops. We will have to have a consensus, a percentage that will go to workshops and meetings, so that we can use the money for the intended purpose to benefit the ordinary Ghanaian.
The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu Bequim, highlighted the initiative's significance in strengthening Ghana's capacity to detect, respond to, and recover from health threats.
3 areas that the fund seeks to address. So it is not just unique to Ghana. Globally, they realize that there are weaknesses in workforce development, in surveillance systems, and their laboratories. So that's how countries were asked to look at their areas in this perspective and then fill it in. So that's what, if you look at this one, Ghana wanted to make sure that the animal part is brought up in terms of surveillance, their workforce, and the laboratory systems. And then in that case, the human part, they want to look at their event-based surveillance. So there were broad areas of 3 that was looked at.
As part of the rollout, government agencies will work closely with local communities and international partners to ensure the plan is inclusive, sustainable, and able to protect lives and livelihoods when future outbreaks occur.
Health workers, especially nurses and midwives, face a multitude of challenges, including limited resources, difficult working conditions, dilapidated infrastructure that affect their ability to provide adequate care. Well, despite these glaring challenges, midwives and nurses continue to deliver quality healthcare services. Well, in the following report, my colleague Christopher Mwako assesses the plight of nurses and midwives at the Kayeso Health Center in the East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region.
Established in 2000 as a community health center, the Kayeso Health Center has not undergone any major renovation since its inception. From a distance, one might mistake the facility for an abandoned structure, a dilapidated building with ripped-off roofs, deep cracks in the walls, inadequate medical supplies, and outdated healthcare equipment is what greets any first-time visitor. The delivery and detention rooms still use the same beds that have been in place for nearly 25 years.
For the past 25 years, since the year 2000, this delivery bed has served as the only delivery bed here at the Kayeso Health Center. Now, even though the bed has outlived its usefulness, it's still the only bed that provides delivery services.
I met Sani Zakia, a midwife and the officer in charge of the Kayeso Health Center. She's been working at the facility for the past 9 years. She tells me that working here has not been easy.
Honestly, I feel so sad. It's not been easy working here. You wake up early morning, then you see people coming in with conditions that you don't have equipment to give them the right services. No better drugs. We have poor lighting system that makes our vaccines go bad. We have a lot of challenges, including even common water to bath is a problem.
For her, while working in rural communities comes with its own glaring challenges, recognition and opportunities are often reserved for health workers in urban areas.
Not pay as compared to the type of work we deliver here. Because when you look at your colleagues at the urban sectors, they run shifts. They go at least 6 to 7 hours. They have gone back to the house. But we at the villages, we run 24-hour services. Whether you have the equipment to work or not, you are supposed to be at post. And then after the working hours, you have to be in your room, still waiting for those who come with either emergency or not even the emergency.
Yeboah Benedict, a community health nurse, was posted to the Kayeso Health Center 2 years ago. But he says he's already overwhelmed by the daily challenges.
Looking at the building is dilapidated, and where we are, there's accommodation, but it's not safe, it's terrible. Sometimes you will be lying down, scorpion will just climb your mattress and come and give it to you. You'll be seeing snakes and those things, some flies. It's not easy. When you wake up in the morning, there are no drugs. You don't know the kind of condition that the clients will come with. But we still struggle to help them.
Colleagues, rural nurses deserve more recognition and support to encourage others to accept postings to underserved areas.
Do you have a husband or a boyfriend?
I have a boyfriend.
Okay, so when you come here, how long do you stay here, and does he come to visit you?
I will not be happy for him coming to visit me because the place is very bad.
The undesirable conditions under which rural healthcare givers, especially nurses and midwives, go through to provide quality healthcare services remain a topic for discussion, especially on the conditions of service. A typical of such is the Kairiso Health Center, where the nurses and midwives here have to brace all odds to deliver quality health care services despite the myriads of challenges they go through. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Kairiso is going to...
Yes, so watching Weekend Central. We're going to go for a very first break. We'll be back with more news, so stay with us.
Welcome back from the break. In more news this afternoon, difficulty in accessing death registration centers, delays in processing death certificates, and early burial have been identified as major setbacks in death registration. The Birth and Death Registry, in a bid to encourage registration of death, is rolling out a piloted cemetery registration strategy aimed at providing data on mortality trends and informing policy decisions. Now let's take you to Northern Region, where my colleague Christopher Marco sat through a stakeholder engagement by the Birth and Death Registry in partnership with the International Growth Center. Christian, what has the Birth and Death Registry been telling the stakeholders, and how do they intend to encourage people to register the deceased before burial?
Okay, so they have been explaining to them the need for them to register the dead before going ahead to bury them, because over the years, according to them, there is a sharp decline in the number of deaths that people go to register. And so it is very difficult for them to help government with data to be able to plan well for developmental purposes. And so they have been encouraging the stakeholders, especially the Muslim community, who bury their dead early enough. And so for them to understand the need for them to delay a bit, go to the death registry and ensure that they register their dead before commencing with the burial processes. They have also taken an initiative to pilot the registration of the dead at the cemetery level, so that even if these people are unable to go to the Birth and Death Registry, they have put in place measures to ensure that they register the dead at the cemetery, so that they will be able to know the number of deaths recorded in a year. Let's take a listen to what they've been telling the stakeholders.
The message regarding early burial or rushing for burial, it is conditional. So when you have a dead body and the possibility of it being decomposed or maybe affect the sanity of the deceased, so there is the need for you to rush so that you don't disgrace the dead body. There is the need for you to rush and bury the person. But when there is no need for rushing, why rushing? You see, you get a situation where medically there is the need for further findings to be done on the body. Islam permits that to be done. Or there could be some legal issues on it, maybe some criminal cases related to the dead body. So that wise, there is the need for us to, delay and make sure that the due process is being taken. But over here, unfortunately, people just stick to the statement that, oh, you need to rush for, you don't delay your dead body. But you should understand that there are conditions to that.
That they should not always be in a hurry to bury the dead. They should always go through the process. The bottlenecks in their way, we are also working about it. If you had listened to the imam that spoke, he said sometimes they bury dead live people who are in coma, they bury them. Then all they realize is that the person was not dead, he was just in coma. So we want them to understand that it is patient. Take your time, let's go through a process. Maybe by a day or two, the person you thought that the person is dead, he's not dead. By the next 2 days, the person will be awake. So we are just training them to understand our system of registration of death registration. Because when you go to the cemeteries, you realize that people are burying dead people without any certification, without any documentation. That is what we are trying to avoid.
Christopher, interesting revelations made right there. Even people who are in coma being buried as dead persons. But what has been the response from stakeholders, if you can tell us?
Yes, so basically what they've been saying is that used to be the bottlenecks associated with getting the debt registered. That is why they feel like going to just bury without even going to acquire a death certificate. It is only when they need a death certificate to claim some insurance and other packages that is when they are serious about it. But now they have gotten to know they are going to make sure that they go through the death registration processes before going to bury. They have also been urging the birth and death registry to ensure that they facilitate the processes well at the hospital level. Sometimes when someone dies at the hospital, it is very difficult to even get a doctor to pronounce the person dead and also give them some form of documents for them to be able to go ahead with the death registration. They have also been talking about the fact that when people die at home on a weekend, it will be difficult to get these birth and death registry people to be available for them to register the death. So these are the concerns they have raised. But the birth and death registry have indicated that is why they are piloting a cemetery registration process, so that they will be able to know if that can also support the registration of dead people.
Of course, a Northern Regional correspondent bringing us updates on an engagement by Birth and Death Registry in addressing setbacks in death registration. Judith.
Now, away from that, Ghana's last intact coastal rainforest at Cape 3 Points is under siege from illegal mining and logging, prompting environmental group Hen Mpoano to issue a distress call as residents of nearby Adalaso demand immediate action to safeguard their community and environment. Rama Smith has more.
Ghana is leading primary forest loss rate globally, having lost 18,000 hectares of natural forest, with the majority occurring in the western region, particularly within forest reserves, according to a 2022 Global Forest Watch report. One of the most significant affected areas is the Cape 3 Points Forest Reserve, the only coastal intact rainforest in Ghana and among the few remaining in West Africa. The 5,112-hectare reserve is a biodiversity hotspot renowned for its rich flora and fauna. Over 27 tree species, 17 mammals and 45 butterfly species are facing severe threats from human activities such as illegal logging, poaching, rubber and oil palm plantation encroachment and illegal mining. To combat these, organizations like Hen Mpoano, with support from Critical Ecosystem through BirdLife International, are implementing a conservation project, including deploying a rapid response team, conducting a tree planting and promoting sustainable livelihoods for local communities. Project lead Justice Camillus Mensah has belabored the importance of community involvement, urging local residents to actively report illegal activities as a critical step towards safeguarding the forest.
So currently, this project is funded by the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund through the BirdLife International. It's supporting us to do three things mainly. One is to develop a mechanism for protecting this forest using a number of means and strategies, particularly using the rapid response team to embark on some rapid enforcement operations to arrest and deter criminals from illegal activities in the forest.
Residents of Adalazo, while praising environmentalists for their efforts, are also calling for urgent action to address the illegalities.
The forest is vital to us. We are struggling to protect it from illegal miners. Any assistance will be greatly appreciated, given the forest's importance in providing us with essential resources like fresh air. We are eager to solutions to preserve it for future generations.
Hen Mpoano, with support, has planted trees to restore 30 hectares of degraded patches. Rama Smith, TV3 News, Cape 3 Points.
And away from the Western region, the fight against crime in the Upper East region is taking a high-tech turn. This is because the Regional Security Council has launched a new initiative using drones and surveillance cameras to monitor and prevent violent criminal activities. Donatus Akamugri Atanga is Upper East Regional Minister and Chairman of the Regional Security Council.
Came in as a RESEC chairman. I consulted all the security agencies and people who matter. And then we realized that the approach in keeping peace in this region hasn't been the best. It hasn't been the best because we allow people to go to war, and then we go and send people to go and stop them. And at sometimes they have exchanges with the security agencies, and people are losing their lives. And so the better approach is to ensure that you prevent them from committing the crime. And we thought that if we put the drones, we will be able to detect when somebody is hiding somewhere and planning to take up any nocturnal activity. If we are able to also plant cameras, whether the people are there or not, when you commit a crime, you will be picked up. And so we worked on that, and we have increased the number of drones in the
What you make of this initiative by the minister in combating crime in the Upper East region? We are active on Facebook. Get interactive with us. It's TV3 Ghana. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Central. Now, Ghana is set to shine on the global stage as the country participates in the 2025 Osaka Expo from April 13 to October 13. The theme, Designing Future Societies for Our Lives, presents an opportunity for Ghana's ICT sector to showcase its capabilities. Judith Brown reports.
Ghana's participation in the Osaka Expo is expected to open doors for meaningful partnerships, attract investment, and position the country as a hub for ICT excellence. The Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nate George, says the Ghana Day celebration on September 11 will be a highlight, showcasing the country's digital progress and deepening collaboration with the Japanese government.
Our participation will highlight innovative projects and services by Ghanaian private sector organizations, from fintech and e-governance to digital health and smart solutions. These advancements are driving Ghana's digital transformation. They're creating jobs and improving lives. And we're excited to present them to the world, particularly to our potential Japanese partners.
Speaking on behalf of the Japanese ambassador, Representative Mitori expressed delight in the growing partnership between Japan and Ghana.
In order to maximize productivity, create jobs, and modernize public and private sector operations, needless to say, communication, digital technology, and also innovations are indispensable to achieve that goal. And we welcome increased collaboration between Ghana and the Japanese partner in this sector.
The 2025 Osaka Expo is a significant opportunity for Ghana to showcase its ICT prowess on the global stage. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
And now the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEU Ghana, NAS Local, has raised concerns over what it describes as a grave negligence in the process of appointing a new registrar for the university. At a press briefing, the leadership of TEU Ghana, NAS Local, led by Chairman Charles Arthur, highlighted discrepancies in the university's official communications regarding the retirement of the current registrar.
The KNUST Council has announced that the position of the registrar of the university shall become vacant on 1st August 2025. Meanwhile, the council, through the university recorder number 550 April to June 2024, volume 59, number 6, page 13, indicated that the current registrar of the university will retire from office on 31st October 2025. The union wants to state that per this advert and recorder published, KNUST is going to have two registrars from 1st August to 31st October 2025. The union further wants to state that this is negligent on the part of the University Governing Council, which has never occurred in the history of the university before, that KNUST is going to have two registrars at the same time. We therefore call on the Minister of Education and the Director General of the GTech to immediately intervene by suspending all processes leading to the appointment of the registrar and set up a committee to investigate why such incidents has occurred.
Now, Ghana will, in the next few hours, witness a new winner for the MTN FA Cup as Asante Kotoko takes on Division 1 League side Golden Kick at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Golden Kick hopes to cause an upset, while Asante Kotoko are looking to avoid going trophyless. Both coaches spoke ahead of the game.
They are very good side. They have all what it takes to play in Africa and so on and so forth. So people will rate them higher than us. But football is football. Others can surprise the big giants. So it's not new, and it's not news if we beat Kotoko, you know. So we are preparing ourselves physically, mentally, and then psychologically, so that we'll approach them with right mindset to surprise them.
Well, you know,
the attitude of which they are going to play us is different from the attitude we are going to use. We have to fight and then try to come out of a good attitude, positive attitude. But when you are playing the lower side, especially Kotoko has a folk, the boys themselves motivate themselves because they are going to play us, they are going to play Kotoko. So even there are certain trainings they don't usually do, they will do it themselves. You see them going to road. We all done it before when we had to meet Accra as a folk or Kotoko when we were young. So this is the most dangerous part of it. They will prepare mentally and physically.
When was the last time we went to the stadium?
I can't remember.
But with this FA Cup, the final, it's been held at the Legon Sports. And the last time I went there was when we had these corporate games and I went to support TV3. It's a nice place, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very nice place. I used to run there.
Really?
I was a sports girl.
Hey, I didn't know this.
Well, now you know. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown.
My name is George Quinn. For more news updates, just log on to our website, s3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Enjoy your afternoon.